that nearly 3 million of you all have come together in this unprecedented time means that we all share both the desire, the hope, and the potential, I believe, to be whole and to be well. So again, thank you so much for joining me. And like you, I've had a lot of restless days and nights thinking about our country, those of us who live in this country, and those of you who don't live in this country, maybe you've been thinking about us too, because we are experiencing a lot of pain right now as a nation, because we know there's so much justifiable anger. And I am just standing with and applauding all of these young people out in the streets, letting their voices be heard. There is so much uncertainty. I also know that there is a desire to listen and to awaken. And for many people, there's a question about how do we do that? And I've learned over the years that the most effective method or way to find common ground, no matter what the anguish is to approach the person at the other end of the pain with heartfelt, pure, sincere compassion and ask, what is it you want? What do you really want? And that works whether we're in a crisis of our country or a crisis in your own kitchen. What do you want? And then the next best question I have learned is, what can I do to help? I'm telling you, when somebody's in anguish and you ask that question, what can I do to help? Immediately, it says to the other person, you are here for me. What do you want? This happens even with your children when they're out of control. What do you want? And what can I do to help? So if you ask that question now of young people in the streets, you will hear their cry. I want justice. I want equality. I want to feel safe. I want to be able to prosper. I want change. I want reform. Ultimately, I want to be well. And all that wellness encompasses, which we've been talking about the past several weeks. What all of those words really mean, I believe, is that I want to know that you value me. And I've been talking about this for years. It was the greatest lesson I learned on the Oprah show from guests after guest after guest after guest, that everybody wants the same thing. They want to know, do you see me? Do you hear me? And does what I say matter to you? And that's whether you're talking to people in the world or whether you're talking to people in your living room, in your own family. Do you see me? Do you hear me? And does what I say matter? And for those of you who have had trouble understanding what does Black Lives Matter really mean, it's about, can you see that my life matters? Do you value my Black life? And the reason the children are crying that in the streets is because if you are a white person, you never have to explain to people that your life is valuable, because everything in the world reflects back to you from the time you get up in the morning to the time you go to sleep at night. When you walk out in the streets, every commercial, every ad, the whole of society reflects back to you that you matter. And so this community, the one that we have built together right here, so aligned in our commitment to our collective well-being, I believe has the potential to be a force for good that we all need right now. And everybody's asking the questions, what can I do? What can I do? Well, first of all, if you're one of our white friends and allies, it begins with educating yourself on what you don't know, what you did not learn, what was not taught, what was systematically taken out of the history books so you wouldn't know it. You begin with educating yourself. And two good books right now, both of them bestsellers, How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi and White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo are already, on the bestsellers list. Those are two good places to start. And I have to tell you, I'm reading a book right now that's not even in the bookstore. It's coming soon to a bookstore near you or on Amazon or Apple, wherever you get your books. You can pre-order it right now. It is the definitive end all, be all, say all about what's happening right now. The book is called Caste: The Origins of our discontent by Pulitzer Prize winner Isabel Wilkerson. Order that book, pre-order that book now. And I see somebody has White Fragility in the window. That's great. But Cast, coming out in August, is another must read for everybody who wants to be educated. It will change the way you see what is systemic in our country. Then once you start to understand, you no longer have to be defensive. You no longer have to pretend that you don't know. You no longer have to pretend that everything is the same, because you can see for yourself. And that's what this is all about. I think this time is an opportunity for a great awakening for us all. And the question becomes, will we accept this moment? We're clearly at a precipice. It could go either way. And if we choose to be open and to move forward, we can all do that. So I ask you all, what is it that you can commit to not only help yourself heal, but to help our communities heal? And wherever you are, there's a need for healing. There's a need for understanding. There's a need to be well. There's a need to be heard. There's a need to be valued. There's a need to show people that they matter. So once you get yourself right, you then use yourself to do right for someone else. One of the most gratifying parts of this experience for me has been reading all of your emails, your posts, and the texts that you all send. A text came in last week, and I want to take a moment to read some of it to you. It says, in a time of such uncertainty in my life, Oprah on Saturday mornings has kept me grounded. As a mom of 4 kids, 4 Black kids, my emotional pain is high. They hit every race category of the United States. I felt like I was drowning. And hearing Oprah talk about remembering our breath and saying, in this moment, I am well, has changed my life in 3 short days. I love a life-changing moment. That came from Ashley and Tiara. Ashley is joining us with her 15-year-old daughter, Tiara, and they've been watching our virtual experience together. Hi, Ashley and Tiara.
Hi, Oprah.
Hi, how are you and the family today? So are you guys still in lockdown?
So here in Wisconsin, we are in phase 2, so we are opening a little bit, but in my home, we're still in lockdown.
Yeah, that's the way it is in my home. You know, Stedman's saying other people are golfing. I see people out. Well, you're not those people. So we're still in lockdown. That's right. Those people don't live here. Anyway.
Not here either.
So I heard that you watched the experience with both your teen daughters, whose father is Black, and both girls have also started using the phrase that in this moment, I am well, we are well. Tiara, how are you learning to be well in this moment?
Well, I've learned to not think about the future so much and just being present in the moment. And whether that's gardening with my mom, cooking, taking walks, or meditating, even like 10 to 15 minutes, the shortest amount, just living in the moment and just feeling like ready in the moment, you know?
And has it helped you?
Yes, it definitely has, because I'm not dwelling on thinking about the future and just living, like being able to live.
Well, I'm happy to have an opportunity to talk to a 15-year-old. How is what's happening in the world you're seeing on the news, what happened to George Floyd, all of that, how is that impacting you?
It's been really hard, you know, fearing for my siblings, my dad. I think the best thing I can do is try to get my voice heard. You know, everybody's voice matters. And going protesting, signing petitions, that's just been a savior right now.
Really? Have you been participating in a protest?
Yes, plenty.
With your mask on, I hope.
Yes, and hand sanitizer.
And hand sanitizer. So Ashley, I know you're worried about your children. What are you telling your children during this time? And I also heard that a conversation that you heard that Gail and I had where she was talking to her children. They're talking all the time, but her children are grown, which makes it a little different. What are you telling your children about this moment?
Well, you know, Oprah, it would be so easy to sugarcoat this, but that's not a reality for my kids. There's no sugarcoating. The minute they walk out of this house, their skin color puts a target on their back. So I've been very honest with my older kids. We don't hide it. This is their
Do you have sons?
reality, and it's not. I'm
Do you have
sorry.
sons? You have sons?
I have one son, Terry, who's 7.
Okay.
And you know, my 4-year-old Gigi asked, "Mommy, is Daddy gonna get killed too because he's Black?"
Wow.
And that's when it hit me, like, every piece of fierceness and fire that I've ever had in my life has come out in these past 2 weeks. I will not back down. I will never stop fighting.
Has this moment awakened you in a way that you were not awakened before, or not consciously aware or ready to step up?
I think yes, because my kids have got older now, Oprah. But in 2015, we had a 15-year-old boy here in Madison, Wisconsin, that was killed by a police officer, and he was mixed as well. So that happened right here to a member of our community, and justice was never served as it should have been. So it was that moment that I realized I have to do better as a white mother of children who will never, ever be taken as white. I realized my kids don't have white privilege. And I was awoken so much more. When I walk into grocery stores with my kids, I see the looks. I've had to educate my parents. I've had to educate my siblings.
Wow. Did you see that commercial? Have you seen that Procter & Gamble commercial called The Look? Has anybody else here seen that commercial? It's about and you see the Black man going to the elevator, and then the elevator closes. He's in the pool. There is a look. There is a look. Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
And you know, it's tough. A lot of my white family maybe aren't ready to accept what our reality is, but they're gonna have to accept it. Like, this is the time where saying that you're not racist is not enough. We need to be anti-racist, and we need to know what that means.
Well, you say that this experience also helped you focus on your health, because that's what we're here to talk about today, but we cannot talk about health without talking about what's happening in the rest of the world, which is affecting all of our emotional, spiritual, social health. So how has this affected your health?
Well, Oprah, I would love to say that it has not negatively affected me. I did fall off a little bit last week, but I reined myself back into your, I'm going to say, famous phrase of, in this moment, I am well. Between COVID and now this, I went from, you know, running a daycare out of our home to losing my income and homeschooling my own kids. And in moments of fear and in stress, I can turn around, not look at my kids, hold my tears back, and say, Ash, in this moment, you are well. We can do this. And that has been my savior phrase for the past 4 weeks, 5 weeks now, I think. It works. Anybody who underestimates the power of just a couple words, it doesn't take a lot. I'm busy. I got 4 kids. I can't always turn on Headspace as much as I would love to, but to turn around and just say, I am well, I got this, I can conquer this, has been so moving.
Wow. Well, I'm so happy that something that has been so powerful for me, that's how I've gotten through this time, and any time, actually. I've had, you know, other crises, personal crises in my life, like other people. I remember when there was a big crisis in my school in 2007. I had to go to South Africa twice in 1 week because of charges of sexual assault there on campus. And it was the most, you know, personally devastating time in my life. And the way I got through it is just every moment, like, in this moment, I am well. In this moment, I am well. In this moment. And you know who taught me that? Was Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle, who wrote the book, Power of Now. And Tiara, you're about the age where you can really start to grasp it. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle would be a really great book for you all to read together as a family, as mother and daughter. And it literally changed everything for me. So thank you so much, both of you, for joining us.
Oprah, thank you.
Yeah, I hope that more than just this moment you are well, that your family will continue to be safe and be well. Thank you both. So I tell you what, let's do. In this moment, let's just all take a moment, close our eyes for just a moment, and share gratitude for our breath. Inhale together at the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, exhale. In this moment, I am well. And in this moment, let your breath take on new meaning, because we are able to breathe in honor of those who cannot. We are able to breathe in honor of those who weren't allowed to breathe, who weren't permitted to breathe, who had a knee on their neck and were suffocated and not allowed to breathe. George Floyd, Eric Garner, and so many others who weren't allowed to breathe, who are now on a ventilator, struggling to breathe. We breathe for them and celebrate the breath that is life inside ourselves. In, around, covered in, and through ourselves, the breath of life. Thank you. Through this, we honor them. Thank you all so much. I want you to know that I'm going to miss the energy and the momentum that we have created this week, every week. And I know it has been a source, I hope it has been a source of connection, of guidance, and possibility for many of you. I see up there, thank you so much. Yes, I see your yeses. That's exactly the reason why WW and I wanted to share these Saturdays with you, to be your partner in moving forward in wellness in this moment during a pandemic. And today we will be honoring some of you who have experienced a spark during the tour or during our virtual tour and made the commitment toward a healthier, more well you. So here are just 2 ahas to start. Jay Shetty taught us his wellness acronym for time: thankfulness, inspiration, meditation, exercise. Remember that? That was a couple of weeks back. And after hearing that, Deb from Maryland texted this photo, I love this, of time on her bathroom mirror. Love that. And Vali emailed to let us know that after hearing Janae, our WW success story, who had an aha moment after she bit into an apple, remember that? I think it was the first week, and then joined WW and then lost 30 pounds. Vali went out and bought herself some apples, y'all, for the first time in years. So we're helping apple sales too. And Jasmine from Minneapolis let us know that she and her fellow WW friends, Kim from Michigan, hey, and Nicole from Atlanta, hey, have been dressing up every Saturday for this experience and then sharing a post show call to discuss all of their ahas. Y'all getting dressed, lipstick, eyelashes, love it, love it. That's wonderful. So after these 3 weeks of focusing, connecting, and adapting, what are you ready to commit to? That's what this has all been for. What are you really ready to commit to? And how do you intend to go about doing that? So this is what I've learned, is that commitment is a daily thing. And you all who are committed in your relationships, committed to your children, you know this. You make the big grand, I will till death do me part, to death do us part, but in the end, it's an everyday thing. It's not just a declaration or a pronouncement. I see you up there, Kanye, and I see y'all nodding. It's fortifying that commitment through daily renewal. So think of what you have already committed to right now in your life. You already have a lot of commitments. So you've proven that you know how to do it. Your work, your family, you do that every day. Commitment means the decision to act with consistency. So the commitment I've made to myself is that I only live in the space of moving forward. I really just don't have a lot of time for negativity. Asking myself whenever something shows up and I get, pulled into it, is this going to move me forward? So that's what I've taught myself. Yours is going to be yours. So no matter the challenges we are facing, I know that right now that there are what feel like for a lot of people insurmountable challenges, but there is nothing that you're not going to get through. There's nothing that you're not going to get through. Everything that has ever happened to you has happened so that in this moment you can get through whatever you're having to get through. So the fact that you are still standing means you're going to get through it. You're going to get through it. But for you, your life and your well-being, there will always be a forward. As long as there's breath, there's a forward. So when something shows up and you fall into it, just let yourself be pulled all into the energy of it. The thing to do, I've learned, is to stop and say, is this moving me forward? Now, for me, so much has always been about my weight, my weight, my weight. That's why making the choice to join WW has been one of the best commitments I've made for myself. And what I realize is that commitment to do and be well is about a lifetime of choices that you make daily. Will I take that walk? Will I have a moment of gratitude? Will I wake up and the first thought I've trained myself is, thank you, thank you. Ooh, I'm still breathing, thank you. Will I be able to offer my help? I have been so blessed in my life that I can afford to literally sit down and think about who else can I bless. If you are now in the blessing journey for yourself, first you take care of yourself. You make yourself whole, you give to yourself. And when you're able to give to yourself, you then give to other people. So I'm constantly thinking, what can I do? How do I use myself to bring somebody else into a forward motion from themselves? And, it's a daily decision. I have girls in the house. They have their own stashes. I found their stash of potato chips. Oh, Lord. I ran into a drawer of Ruffles and truffle potato chips and barbecue and Doritos, ranch. Hot Doritos. I really, I was like, who did this? Anyway, so it's a commitment where I'm asking them to move them to a place in the house where I don't know that they're located, the stash. Moving forward is not I'll try, not I want to. It's not even I really want to. It is I have decided. That's what the commitment is. I have made this decision. Okay, and once you make the decision, everything else in the universe, in your life, shows up to support you. So let's get out your workbooks and see where you are in your commitment to wellness. As always, today's workbook pages were included in the email we sent you when you registered at www.com/Oprah. So we're also going to put the pages up on the screen. If you're on the Zoom webinar, you can participate in our interactive poll. To do that, enter your answers at the prompts on your phone or on your laptop, and then Zoom will tally your collective score so we can find out how we're also doing as a whole. So first, the quote by Goethe helps clarify how commitment works in our lives. I just love this quote. At the moment of commitment, the entire universe conspires to assist you. And that's not a head thing. That's a vibrational energy thing. It's not like, oh, I've decided. Because the forces of life the energy that is the creative force that's ruling everything, by whatever name you choose to call it, it knows when you've actually committed or when it's just a game you're playing with yourself. So when you have made the commitment inside yourself, everything else rises up energetically to meet you in that goal. So the upside of uncertainty is that it can inspire us to think about what really matters, opening ourselves to the opportunity to actively commit to our habits, our health, and our happiness. And the current struggles can serve as strong motivators to help you see through a commitment. So we're going to assess where you are in your commitment. Remember, this isn't, an SAT, it's just to get an idea of where you are. So 1 to 4. 1 is not me at all. 2, sometimes me. 3, often that's me. 4, that's me. You all know how this works. We're going to read through each question, then select what most resembles you, and it's going to register into the Zoom poll, or you can just write it down on a piece of paper at home. So number 1, I'm energized to make my health and well-being even more of a priority. Is that not you? Sometimes, often, or that's you? I've made a plan for how I will focus on my wellness, even as disruptions challenge my routine. Have you made a plan? Okay, I've honed in on a particular area of my life that I want to make changes to. I'm committed to connecting in new and different ways with myself and with people in my life. I am able to see possibility beyond this moment in time. So we're going to add up your scores. And raise your hand if you scored 5 to 8. I didn't think there'd be any 5 to 8. Is there 5 to 8s here? There's a 5 to 8? Hello? I see you in the window. I can't see. It's Amanda. Is it Amanda? Amanda in the window, raising your hand. 5 to 8.
Hi, Oprah.
There's
How are
Amanda.
you?
Hi.
Hi.
Amanda,
Yeah.
what is going on? 5 to 8. I didn't think there'd be any 5 to 8s here. But go ahead.
I know. Yeah, the first 3 weeks I was doing pretty well. This one I got a 7 actually. So.
Wow. Okay. So meaning you're in a difficult place right now.
Yeah, I am. I feel as though logically, like I understand, the importance of commitment, the importance of wellness, but I think I'm having trouble putting it into action.
So, I've often said this, and I said this when I was on the WW9 city tour, which every day I bless myself that I didn't get COVID doing all of that. But one of the things I was saying is that for years, I had this big goal that I was going to commit to 8 glasses of water a day. And every time I try 8 glasses of water a day, I go now 3 days. If I drink 8 glasses of water in one day, then the next day I don't drink any water. And then the next day I don't drink any water. I mean, I get so over. So now I started with a goal of just 2 glasses. And now I'm up to 4 glasses. So the question for you, Amanda, what is one new habit, even something small that you could start? So the commitment shouldn't have to be until death do you part. It should just be, what can I do today? So what would that be?
I think that would be honestly something small, be getting outside a little bit more. I've been taking this really seriously. And I feel like the second I go outside, I see a bird, I see a neighbor, I see a little bit of difference like in the nature outside. And that I come inside and then I just feel a little bit different. And that small shift for me, honestly, it seems to spiral into a bigger positive day. So I think starting small and not having a goal.
Okay, so what is specifically the commitment that you're going to make? You said, I think I'm going to start getting outside more. That is not as specific. So when are you going to go outside? How long are you going to stay outside? How many days are you going to do? Are you going to do that twice a week, once a week, 5 minutes a day, 2 minutes a day?
Okay, I'm going outside twice a day. I'm going to say twice a day. The first 12 hours of my day, I guess I'm sleeping and during some of them, and then I wake up. So before noon, I'll be outside at one point, and afternoon, I'll be outside at
No. I don't want the 1 point. I don't want the 1 point. When are you going to go outside? So I'm going to commit to go outside at what time, not at some point.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. What is the
So-
time you commit to go
Okay.
outside?
Okay, I got it. On my phone at 9 a.m., I have a little alarm that goes off every day, and it says to me, what is the bravest thing you can do today? And so that might be a great time, 9 a.m. I see that, I'll put on my sneakers, shut down the Zoom call or the computer for a moment, the screens, and go outside.
For how long?
I want to say until I feel a shift in myself, until I
Okay.
feel a change. Is that?
Well, you know, that doesn't even take long. I did that this morning. Just stepped outside and I saw like 4 different birds. I thought, oh, gee, I could be a bird watcher, you know?
I love
And
it.
literally, as the sun was coming up, I literally had that, oh, hello, day moment.
Yeah.
And it only takes a moment.
Yeah.
You're right about that. It only takes a moment. So you're going to commit 9 a.m. You're going outside. You're going to stay out there. You're going to breathe. You're going to take it in. You're going to do that twice a week, twice a day.
Twice a day.
Well, let's
I'll
just
pick
start
another
with one.
time.
Hey, let's just
One
start with one. Let's just start with one. Let's just start
Okay.
with 9 a.m. And so when you do that for a solid week, you're going to feel like I kept my word.
Yeah.
I didn't lie to myself. You're going to feel fortified by that. Let's begin there with that commitment. I love it.
I love that.
I love it. That's how you
Thank
do it. Thank you so much, Amanda. Okay, 9 to
you.
12, where are y'all? Scored 9 to 12. I know somebody scored 9 to 12. There you are. Oh, I see you. Is that Barbara up there? Hi, Barbara. Is it Barbara Miller? Hi, Barbara Miller.
Hi, Oprah.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, where are you talking to me from? Where are you speaking from?
I'm in Pomona, New York.
Oh, hey. So are you still in lockdown?
I am still in lockdown. We just started phase 1 this week. So
Mhm.
very slowly coming out of hibernation, as I call it.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And what does that feel like?
It's very different because I'm kind of a germaphobe. So for me, I've only been leaving the house to go to the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm kind of like Amanda. I'm not really getting out as much and not interacting with people other than work, which is all Zoom, right? So that I'm missing that interaction and exchange. I also had a death in the family. So I've kind of taken a turn down and I'm trying to get back up.
Mm. Oh, we're all sorry to hear that because having a death in the family now, was it a COVID related death?
It wasn't, but it was my dad. And, tried to protect him from this. And then to have this happen was really hard.
Yeah. And also so hard when you can't mourn the way we're accustomed to. You know, we have been,
Exactly.
all of us, regardless of where you are in the world, whatever your culture is, we all have our ways of mourning, and to not to be able to do that. Oh, I feel so, we feel you, we feel you, we feel you.
Thank
So
you.
wherever you are right now is okay. And I say that to everybody, but particularly for what you've had to go through and what your family is going through. I hope you'll give yourself the opportunity to mourn and grieve and to be with the space of your father passing in a way that lets you move through it. And so that would be the healthiest thing for you right now. So the fact that you are standing in a pandemic, lost your father, dealing with that, all the things you have to deal with in your own personal life and family, means you are on a path to wellness because you've made some healthy decisions already. So scoring 9 to 12, let's just give yourself a high five for that. Come on.
Thank
Scoring
you.
11. So I was going to ask you about identifying what's holding you back, but it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Right now, just be with what it is. That's what I would say. Be with what it is.
I'm committing
Yes.
to self-care
Yeah.
and taking care of me and what I need in the moment.
Okay. And what will that look like for you?
Making sure that I'm resting and getting enough sleep, that I'm taking care of me before I take care of others. I feel like I've always been the caretaker and the responsible one in the family.
Yeah, that's the story of women.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna put me first, and that means making sure that I'm looking after my own health and my own needs before I can reach out to help anybody else.
I know, and that is so hard for so many women to do because they feel that that is selfish. So how have you been able to, what can you teach all of us this morning about how you've been able to make the shift as one who is always given to everybody? Anybody else in here guilty of that? Can I get a witness? That's everybody. That's the story of women throughout the world, giving to everybody else. And so hard to make the shift that you are worthy of the same care that you're giving to everybody else. What made you shift?
Yeah, I think I've learned how to say no, and how to push back on somebody else's immediate crisis and not make it my crisis, which is really difficult for me because I have empathy for everybody else. So really stepping back and saying, I'm not in control of anybody except for myself.
That's 1000%. What was your father's name?
Bert Ross.
Bert Ross. This is what I've also learned over the years. And I said this to my beloved Maya Angelou when her mother died. I don't know how I knew this or where I came to know this, but when somebody who has loved you and given birth to you and seeded you passes, their spirit is abiding with your spirit. And the grieving is really necessary, but if you allow yourself to stay open enough, you really can become conscious of having an angel you can call by name. And your angel that you can call by name is Bert Ross, your daddy. And I will tell you, I will assure you the same thing that I said to Maya when her mother passed, because she was having a really hard time, is that if you let yourself lean into the spirit that is now joined with your spirit and abiding with your spirit, because that spirit gave you life and loved you. And so it is stronger on the other side in whatever form it is, even than it was here, because the density of life doesn't allow it to be all that it can be with you. And I assure you that in this moment, you are stronger and more powerful than you can imagine yourself to be, because his spirit is aligned and abiding with you. So use that in this moment to raise yourself up, because this is when it is its strongest, after the passing, immediately after the passing. And so you have to mourn it, but also let it abide with you in a way that it lifts you up so that you become the strongest you've ever been, because this is the moment for that. Lean into it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Those of you 13 to 17, where are you? Okay, I see you up there. Kelly Warner, I see you. Hello. Oh, no, Kelly Warner and then John. Kelly Warner, I see you. And then John, I'm coming to you. So Kelly, let's hear you.
Hey, Oprah, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
So happy to speak with you. I went to Brooklyn with one of my dear friends who lives in New York back in February. So that was extremely special. And these past 4 or 5 weeks have been amazing and just what I needed to get through COVID and everything else that's going on.
Well, good, good, good. Well, you're doing good. You don't want to let this moment pass without a positive change. What was your score? What was your score?
17.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So
So
you've
what
already
I
got the
decided-
resolve. What would make it stronger? What would make it even stronger?
Well, I decided to commit to myself, and when I left Brooklyn in February, my word was movement. I've never
Ooh.
been a person who exercises that much, actually hate exercising. It's not my favorite thing to do. I'd rather just be with people and, you know, do fun things. But I did commit to moving more, and that started at 20 minutes a day, and now it's moving up to about an hour. So I
Wow.
bought
That's
I bought
great.
a
That's a
Peloton.
lesson. That's a lesson in commitment. Don't try to start out with the hour. Start out with the 20 minutes. That's great.
Yeah, I bought a Peloton bike, and the first time I think I cried through the first 15 minutes because I'm like, can't do this. This is insane. Why did I spend this much money on this bike? This is so stupid. But
And isn't the seat, don't you find that the seat, Kelly, that seat is tiny. Huh?
Oprah, my butt hurts like no one's business.
I know,
had
me
to
too.
buy- I had to buy padded bike shorts and a padded bike seat. But now, so I've progressed, right? So when I first started, I hated it. And now I'm able to like get up out of the seat and pedal. And so that makes it a lot better because previously it could not do
Fantastic.
it.
Fantastic. I'm so glad to hear somebody else thinks that seat is so damn tiny. I at least tried to wrap a towel around it the other day because I was like, my God, my butt hurts, my couste hurts, everything hurts on that seat. John, you're laughing. Hello. I see you in the window. What was your score, John? Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thanks, Oprah.
Hey, Oprah, how are you?
Hi, hi, hi. Glad to see you on a Saturday.
My score was 17.
Okay. So it means you're doing okay. You, as I said to Kelly, you got a lot of resolve. What is it you want to resolve? What is it would make your resolve even stronger?
I think for me, I think what would make my resolve more would be learning how to move past the fear of the uncertain. I think that would help me out a lot. I feel like the time that we're in now, with everything that's going on, you know, with the social unrest, and then on top of that, the COVID, learning to not have fear of what the uncertainty in the world, and helping, that would help me out a lot, so just from that. And I guess my question to you would be, well, how do you stay committed to that commitment of being better and helping others during this situation?
Well, my favorite, and you'll hear me talk some more about this, my favorite prayer is use me. So wherever the way I am used is not going to be the same way you are used. So if everybody offers that prayer or asks that question of themselves in your community, in your family, in your personal life, how can I be used for something that's greater than myself? Your answer is going to be different than my answer. But when you ask that question, God use me, life use me, forces of life use me, divine use me, please use me in service of something greater than myself, the answer shows up. And all you got to do is ask in earnest. And I swear to you, it shows up. You'll see it in a TV ad. You'll see it in something you're reading. You'll see it on social media, and you'll get that aha, oh yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. So, you know, if you're scoring 17, that means you're already on the path. The fact that you are here right now means you're already on the path. And as I was saying earlier from that Goethe quote, and just the way the life force works, when your heart is open to receive, what you need to receive shows up. That is for sure going to happen. You know, I am with you in this moment of uncertainty. And I know that being an African-American man at this time and all that's going on, and you know, just what caused us to be in this moment. You know, I did a special the other night and I was talking to African-American men specifically about what it would be like to look at that knee on the neck, because you know that that could be you. So as Dave Chappelle just said in his tape, he didn't even look in his special that he just dropped on Netflix and YouTube. He didn't even look at the tape for a week of George Floyd. It took me a while too. Gail kept saying, you need to see it, you need to see it. It took me a while. And I've only been able to look at it one time because I choose now to focus on what is going to move me forward. And you particularly as an African-American man need to figure out for yourself what the answer to that is. Maybe it's like Tiara, joining a protest. Maybe it's using your voice in other areas. But in this moment, I think it's so important, as we're always talking about the divide in our country, look at what is happening in the streets. There are white people, brown people, yellow people, black people, like never before. And I am older than everybody here. And so I've been through a few crises, beginning with Dr. King's, you know, death is the first one I remember. Actually, John F. Kennedy being assassinated, where the country mourned together. And then Dr. King and Robert F. Kennedy. And so I've been through a few. I've never seen anything like this, where the country was awakened to a kind of empathy and support and solidarity. So focus on that. Focus on, look at all the people who are now seeing and hearing for the first time. And I hear a lot of people saying, oh, people are just now getting woke. Okay, let's take woke wherever we can get it. Let's just, if you're waking up, let's have that. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for finally waking up. And, you know, I have seen over the years that it takes tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. I learned this when I was a young reporter in Baltimore, that I used to be that reporter who was out on the street covering stories. And in the beginning, when I first started reporting, if there was a drunk driver that killed one person, that could be the lead story in the news. After a while, so many people were getting killed from drunk drivers. It would take a drunk driver killing 7 children on a school bus coming from choir practice to make the lead news before people would start paying attention to it. And that's what started Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And it just took death after death after death after death. And so I see in this moment, George Floyd is a seminal moment. That was the one that cracked people open. And I appreciate the rising,
Right, I do too.
So, yeah, yes. So come on up to the rising, John. Come on up to the rising.
I do. I take what you said, and that is confirmation from some things that I've written down earlier today. Is where can I be used most? Just because I firmly believe that there's a time for everything, and everything happens for a reason. And this definitely happened for a reason. And God is taking this moment to allow change to happen. And we have to really step into this moment and allow the change to happen and let God
so the
use
question is,
all
how
of
are you
us to
going to
build.
step in? How are you going to step in?
But that's a good question.
You don't have to answer it now. I'm just, you know, that's the question. How are you going to step in? That's the question all of us are. And you're going to be faced with it, whether you choose to or not, because the world is changing right in front of us, and we are right in the midst of it. It's changing. So thank you so much for being willing to commit and having resolve to commit. And
thank you, Oprah.
Thank you so much, John.
Thank you.
18 to 20s, where y'all? Okay, I'm not even gonna talk to y'all, because you're 18 to 20, you're doing all right. You're doing all right, because your strong commitment to meet this moment means that you're ready. 20, oh, over there, okay. I see you 20s. So here's the thing. Once you're in the 18 to 20, you continue to focus on building a stronger you. I don't have to tell you all about that. In mind, body, and spirit. And then you use that, because the purpose of getting to where you are strong inside yourself It gets stronger when you're willing to give it to someone else, when you're willing to lead somebody else to your 19 over there. I see Clayton. When you're willing to let somebody else in on how you were able to do it. That's what we're all here to do, is to give your offering to someone else. So bravo to all of you 18 to 20s up there. Fantastic. So let's see how everybody did as a whole. 2% were 5 to 8. That means not really ready to commit, but Amanda's going to go out there and see the birds. That's fantastic. 17% of you were 9 to 12. 49% were 13 to 17, and 31% were 18 to 20, which means you're on the path to teaching someone else how to do it. Okay, this past month, thank you all for the test. This past month, there have been ahas, a lot of bing, bing, bings, and workbook results to celebrate. The first week of our experience, Nicole scored an 8, and this week she scored a 20. Nicole, that is so wonderful. What led to such a big shift?
I think for myself, first and foremost, thank you for having me. I'm a nurse manager here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I lead almost 100 staff members. When everything, kind of first started with COVID, I felt this real heaviness, and just guilt in trying to, care for myself, putting everybody, in front of me, before me, and that in itself makes it difficult to lead. And so in participating in these sessions week after week, I'm just gathering these tools and making the commitment to be well, to walk, to pay attention to what I'm eating, to focus on my family. I just felt like I gained the building blocks to move forward. So I think that led me from the 8 to the 20, just, taking notes and participating and actively working on it each and every day.
Well, God bless nurses. I just saw somebody with a sign in the window. God bless you. How are you holding up through all this?
I think I'm taking it one day at a time, to be quite honest with you. So I am not on a, ICU or a medical surge unit. I actually lead a labor and delivery unit and neonatal intensive care unit. And it's something people don't often think about in relation to COVID, but it does affect us too in many different ways. And it's, very stressful on leaders and my staff as well. And so just making sure that I'm being present, but also taking care of myself first so I can be present for them. And that's where the heaviness kind of came from before, is just not being able to get out of that heaviness to then lead them and feeling guilty. So
well, I think this is the thing that keeps coming up here today. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to make sure we made this point. You all see the thing that keeps coming up here? Take care of yourself first. Take care of yourself first. Fill your own cup first. Because if you don't, you are just an empty vessel out there trying to, gasping for your own breath and can't give it to other people. So you've learned that, right?
Absolutely, I have.
Was it hard at first for you? Was it hard at first for you? Because you're one of those people also trying to please everybody else. You can't be in your field and not be the person that's given to everybody else, right?
Yes. It was very, very hard at first, but I took baby steps, the advice you gave the young lady before, I took baby steps. So I made the commitment, to walk a couple of days a week. I looked at my work schedule and said, okay, I have a meeting at 7 o'clock. But maybe this day I can't walk before work, but I'm going to make the commitment when I come home to walk after work. Just really planning it out, planning meals. Am I perfect? Am I successful every single day? No, but I'm more patient with myself. And that has really helped me a lot, change my mindset that, I'm actively working at it. I will get there, being patient, and then feeling how good I feel after I accomplish and achieve these things keeps me going forward. So I think that's what got me to that 20, just being persistent and focusing on intention.
I heard also that my religion intention, you also said that listening to Esther Perel made you realize that you and your husband needed to address some issues in your marriage. What has come from those conversations?
Well, I think, her statement that, disasters are relationship accelerators really was kind of another big aha moment for me. And specifically, and then also something that you said about, is this, who you want to sit on the porch with. I felt like I was having my own personal therapy session when she was talking. But tomorrow's not promised. And I think for both he and I, we've had some role transition due to COVID. I've been working a lot of hours. He's been home with the kids, homeschooling and, doing things like that. But it really led me to a point where we had to have some difficult conversations, but also maybe things I wouldn't have brought up before. Where are we going to be in the next 10 or 15 years, or, this is really bothering me today, or something like that. I wouldn't have had those conversations before, but now I feel like this is nothing I can't hold back because tomorrow's not promised. So we really need to have this to move forward, so we can be, great role models for our kids. And I think hearing that from Esther, that the things that I was feeling was normal, the stress and everything that people are going through, also gave me the courage to have those conversations.
Well, thank you so much, Nicole. Now you become a role model for all of us. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here on a Saturday. And I just want to reiterate again that Nicole lesson of giving to yourself first, and also to say that wherever you are and whatever you are feeling is normal. Wherever you are and whatever you are feeling is normal, because you are a human being here on the planet Earth, just striving to be the best that you can. And there isn't a feeling you can have that somebody else hasn't had, or that isn't being shared by somebody else in the world. And I know in particular, when you're going through something that's so challenging, we often think you're the only person in the world that's ever felt that way. And oh my God, is this normal? Am I so weird? Or is this not? No. Wherever you are right now, it's okay. It's okay, and it's okay not to be okay. Because in this moment, you are well. The next moment you may not be, but eventually you will be okay. But wherever you are, it's okay not to be okay. And just keep putting one foot in front of the other and don't give up on yourself. So week 2 of our virtual experience was about connection and relationships. And at the time, Diana scored a 9 on the workbook. Remember Diana and Todd? And her husband Todd scored a 7. She told us that they'd never been physically closer, but felt farther apart than ever. And I hear there has been a major shift. What happened? Hey, y'all.
Yeah. Hey, Oprah.
Todd, hey, Diana.
Todd scored 13, so we're like rising through the ranks here. It's been like a crazy shift in that the little things that we were forgetting to do, like kind of going through the motions, have now become the little moments that we look forward to every day. So
Like what?
difference.
Give us an example. Give us an example.
Playing outside with our daughter. She likes to explore. We have a fenced in yard. And so we've been like throwing the football and making those like little date moments, like silly little things, or texting funny gifts. I'm a gift master. So like the little stuff like that.
You have a favorite gift?
I'm really, well, I can't say. This morning, no, that's not appropriate. I'm very good at timely gifts, but there was one that involved a toilet earlier that was very appropriate, but not good. So it was an SNL skit with the love toilet from SNL, and it's like a 2-sided toilet. He's gonna kill me. But I said it to him, and I thought it was very funny. But so yeah, like little stupid, silly things like that, and then we've had date nights too. So
wow, you say your butterflies have returned. What does that mean?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, I was really in my head with everything that was going on in the world, and I was in a kind of darker place, and I was working at the table here, and all of a sudden I got a text from Todd asking me if I wanted to go on a date on Sunday, and we had the little banter of like, what are we gonna do? And he offered to cook me restaurant lettuce wraps, WW friendly, 6 points, totally amazingly worth it, and we made banana and ice cream, and he offered to do all these things, and I literally felt butterflies, and we've been together 8 years, and it's no offense, it's just a while since I felt butterflies, like the skipping beat feeling. And
so where was the date? Where was the date? In the kitchen? Todd, where was the date? It was like, meet me in the kitchen, or are we going to meet in the dining room?
The dining room, and then in the living room we watched a movie then.
Played some games after our daughter went to bed, so she was involved in the lettuce wrap experience, but then she
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's it? So you now scoring 13. So what changed for you, Todd?
I think mainly seeing the light at the end of the tunnel has definitely helped. You know, seeing things kind of, you know, get closer back to, you know, pre-pandemic, you know, as much as it can be. And we've been meditating every day since the last virtual experience, and I think it really helps bring us, you know, it helps us start on the same page at the same time every day, and brings us closer together.
How long do you all meditate? How long?
Short.
Yeah.
Because we have a 2-year-old who decides when it's time to wake up, we try to like squeeze in 10 minutes in the morning.
Well, yeah, that's great. That's why I asked, because I want people to know that it doesn't have to be, you know,
Yeah.
if you can give the 20-minute a day thing, that's great. But, you know, sometimes 2 is great. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll take it.
as we have experienced here, just taking a breath. Just taking a breath and acknowledging here in this moment, I am well. So 2 minutes, 10 minutes, fantastic. I don't know how you get 10 minutes with a 2-year-old, but thank you all so much. Keep scoring higher and higher. I mean, I am so excited. I'm so excited
Thank you, Oprah.
Thanks for having us back.
that this made a difference. Thank you both. Okay, Christy, along with many others, had one of my favorite ahas after I shared Toni Morrison's lesson, asking, do your eyes light up when I walk into the room? That hit home for Christy, and I know for so many of you. How so, Christy?
Well, you know, when you made that statement, I immediately thought about my children and thought about when the pandemic first started. We were home more often. You know, we were always on the go, but we were home more often. And
Okay,
so
how many kids do you have? How many children? Let me interrupt. How many children?
I have 3. I have a 21-year-old son, and I have a set of 16-year-old twin girls.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so, you know, when we were gone, it was different, you know, but I'm thinking now that we're home, we need to be more conscious of our home and make sure it's clean and make sure it's tidy. So, you know, I would walk around and I would say, oh, you need to clean your room, or, oh, you need to pick up that paper, or why did you leave that blanket sitting right there? You know, so it was always constantly, why don't you? You need to, let's do this. This needs to be done. And sometimes it would even be in the morning time, we would wake up and I'm like, oh, this needs to be cleaned up, you know, instead of, good morning, how are you doing today? And so it made me think, when my children see me, do their faces light up? And the answer was no, because sometimes I would walk in their room and they would say, oh, what's wrong? And it didn't have to be anything wrong. You know, so it really caused me to look at my actions and look at what I was doing and how it affected my children. And so I've started making sure now that we have real conversations, that in the morning when I go into their room, oh, good morning, how are you? Or, you know, sometimes just to say, how did you sleep well? You know, did you sleep okay? You know, and I've noticed a difference in my children. You know, my 21-year-old son now will just walk into the room and he will just give me a hug and say, I love you, Mom. Wow. You know, and so it was a real eye-opening moment for me.
Oh, I'm so happy. We're so happy for you. And had you not heard Toni Morrison say that before? Had you not heard her say that?
I had not. And I love Toni Morrison, but I had not heard that statement.
Oh, okay. Because that was such a lot. I think, that was early 2000s or something when she was on the show. And I can tell you, as moved as you are, so was the audience on that day. Literally, when she said that, in this entire audience at the Oprah show, I could hear all the moms sort of gasp and then start murmuring amongst themselves, and know that you are not alone. That's the reason I wanted to share it, because I know that it's so easy, just particularly with everybody with their phones, you're just always focused on the thing that you're focused on. And exactly what you've expressed here with us today is exactly what Toni Morrison said she was doing with her boys. That, you know, as a single mom, the boys are young, every time they come in the room, it's like, what are you doing? Pull up your pants. What are you doing? Comb your hair. What are you doing? And she felt the same energy that you noticed in your kids when you walked in the room and they're waiting like, okay, what's wrong now? And it changes like that. It changes like that.
You know, I think sometimes too that we get so caught up in the rigmarole of the day, you know, that when we finally get home and we settle down, that it's like, I can finally breathe. I can have some time to myself. And as a teacher, it was really difficult, especially if I had a really hard day at work and then I came home to my children and, you know, so it's really easy to get caught up on this is me time. And so when the kids want to come in and talk, you want to just have your you time, but you can't always do that. You know, sometimes you have to just stop and turn it off and give them that time that they need.
Well, you know, I started this session today, and I've said this so many times over the years. I feel like I'm repeating myself, and you all have heard it before. But I swear to you, what is in the microcosm is also the macro. And your children is why I was saying you can start in the streets, or you can start in your own living room. Your children want the same thing that all the children in the streets are protesting for right now. Yes. They want to know, do you see me?
Yes.
Do you see me? And do I matter? And if you can do that in your relationships, whatever the relationship, that's what your husband wants, your partner wants, your friends want. Do you see me and do I matter? You've made that shift. You are going to have a difference. I'm just so thrilled for you and your family, because the energy in an entire household changes when you start to do that. Have you noticed that? So the energy of the whole house changes. Yeah.
Oh, yes, definitely. So, you know, like I said, my son, 21 years old, and, you know, he's a man, and, you know, but he will come into the main part of the house and just give me a hug. How many 21-year-old men will do that to their mothers? You know, my 16-year-old daughters talk to me about the things that they're going through, you know, with the whole George Floyd thing and the protest. You know, they'll come and talk to me about how it's making them feel, you know, and what they want to do to help make things better. You know, so definitely a different atmosphere in my household.
Well, has there been a question about Mom? What happened to you?
No, I think they're just so happy with the change. They haven't really thought about, you know, wow,
That's great.
What are you going through?
What happened, Mom?
Right.
You're not criticizing all the time. Chrissy, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for allowing me.
God bless your family. God bless your family.
Thank you.
Okay, y'all, it's a lot of good stuff here today. Thank you for sharing. It's time to make the commitment to ourselves. So go to the bottom of the last page and let's do what we call the commitment contract. So first, you're going to fill in your name, followed by what area of wellness you're committed to renewing your focus on. So you're doing this because when you write it down, just like signing any contract, it's like making a promise to yourself. It's making a contract with yourself. So fill in your name. I'm committed to renewing my focus on wellness in the area of self-care, healthy eating, physical movement, mindset, or whatever that is for you, fill in the blank. And even if it's all of them, it's only take one step at a time. That's how you do it, not trying to do all of it at once. Okay. Tell us the purpose for what that focus is. In the words of WW, this is your ultimate why. So you write in, my purpose for this focus is, what is the real reason why? What is the real reason why? So once you answer, oh, because now go a level deeper. What is the real reason why? What is the real reason why? And now tell us, just as I did with Amanda, let's not deal in generalities like, you know, sometime today I'm going to get outside. I want specifics. How do you plan to kickstart your commitment? How do you plan to kickstart your commitment? I'm looking at Brandon. Is that Brandon Little up there? Hi there. Hi, y'all. I see y'all up there. So let's hear, what is one thing that you all plan to do? Brandon Little. Hi.
For me, it's just to committing to walking 30 minutes a day.
30 minutes, okay.
Yeah,
Is that
put on a lot of-
outside or on a treadmill? Outside, treadmill, what?
I'm outside.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good.
I put on a lot of weight during this quarantine, so.
Oh, did you do the COVID-10 or the COVID-15?
I did probably the COVID 30, but.
Oh, oh, you were doing it, right? Well, that means bacon and eggs and
And the biscuits and the gravy.
oh, okay. You had a COVID festival.
Yeah. I was really enjoying myself, but I gotta reel it back in.
Got to reel it back in. Okay, so 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think no. I think I'm gonna start like with that.
Yeah, that's good. 30 minutes a day. Yeah. Are you WW members or not? You're not.
No.
Okay. Well, join if you want to.
No, but we really enjoy you.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you. God bless you. Are you all going to walk together?
We can.
Yeah, we can.
I do a little bit more than the 30 minutes at the moment, so I'll have to get him up to where I am.
Okay. Well, that's a goal.
Yeah.
All right. I can't wait to see what that contract is going to look like. So if you could only, thank you both. If you can only choose one thing, as we're talking about today, if you can only choose one thing, that's progress. So give yourself that one more green thing on your plate. I'm telling you, small successes make you feel stronger. A longer walk, as Brandon Little just said, he's going to do 30 minutes a day. Take small steps. Once you feel good about those, then move on to the next step, and then the next step. And that's how you build the habits: self-care, healthy eating, sustainability. I see that in the window. Thank you so much. And finish by choosing a friend or companion, a partner, or a spouse who's going to hold you responsible to your commitment. And then sign at the bottom. WW has found that we are much more successful when we have an accountability partner. So let's see who you're going to follow up with. Put the name of that person to discuss your progress. And just choose one person, because not everybody want to hear your business. Not everybody want to hear about it. Okay, choose somebody who is going to be there to support you, because not everybody wants to know. Okay, and then sign. I want to see some of the areas that you all are committing to. Can I see self-care? I see that in the window. I commit to consistency. I see that from you, Mel. Healthy movement, Debbie, thank you so much. Write them down. Purpose, I see that. Thank you. Gorgeous. Write them down. One thing to remember is we also want to keep the conversation going beyond this experience, y'all. This has been great, but the way to do that is to text me at WW. Today I want you to send us the area of focus you're committing to, your reason for committing. Here's the number on your screen. If you choose to do that, 917-924-4450, 917, there it is, 924-4450. And we're going to send you ideas and insights and encouragements, and let us know how you're doing. So when you think about finding the community that's going to support you in your own moving forward moment, there's not a day that goes by where I'm not inspired by the stories of success at WW. So if you're ever in need of a wellness pick-me-up, just go to that app. I'm telling you, I guarantee it'll give you the boost that you need, that Connect app. And today's WW success story got the boost she needed to kickstart her own wellness journey after hearing Grammy Award-winning gospel singer and WW ambassador Tamala Mann share her story on our tour stop in Atlanta. And here's just a little bit of our conversation with Tamala. So when you started, you had two goals. What were they?
My two goals was, after my knee surgery, was to run, and also for my husband to be able to just scoop me up and just carry me. Ooh, I can't wait.
Well, after that moment, Dr. Tori Love Griffin joined WW and is now, since that appearance in Atlanta, which I think was on the 25th of February, right? Now down 23 pounds. Wow. Congratulations. Look at you, Dr. Griffin. What was it about that moment that gave you the motivation to get started?
Let me tell you something. First of all, when I saw you and Tamala Mann standing down there on that stage looking so cute, both of you, I said, if these two beautiful Black women can do it, if WW works for them, it can work for me. Where do I sign? Where do I sign? And I thought, well, let's try that lunch. You guys gave us lunch, and I had the salad, and then I had these really cute little dudes that you put in, these little snacks. And I said, these are good snacks. I could live on these snacks. This can work. This can work for me. So I said, I'm signing up. Definitely signing up.
Wow. So you managed to continue losing 23 pounds in lockdown, not being able to get out and work out. So so you were tracking every day, obviously.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I've already lost 26.3 pounds because I am tracking. And that's what COVID, doesn't do for you, is give you clarity. What I learned is my WW app shows me how much to eat, shows me what to eat. I don't have to eat everything in my refrigerator. I don't have to eat everything in my pantry. Those aren't food items. What's good for me is in my app, and I know exactly when to eat. I eat 3 times a day. I know when exactly to eat, and I have continued to trim down. And I had to, because when I was, there in the stadium watching you two, I had just had knee surgery. I love dancing. I love doing Chicago style stepping and Detroit style ballroom and line dancing. And I had been using, dance to sort of maintain my weight. And then after knee injury, I had surgery over the holidays, and I had to start moving again, and I couldn't move. And I said after surgery to the doctor, all right, I'm healed, right? I'm supposed to be dancing, right? And he said, well, maybe if you lost 50 pounds, you'll be back to the dance floor. I thought, 50 pounds? How do you lose 50 pounds? I had a good why. I want to get back on the dance floor. I want to be free to move. I want to run up and down stairs and run and jog, but I didn't have a how. And WW gave me the how. So that's why I love it so much.
Well, that is such a great success story. We had to call Tamala Mann to tell her. Tamala's been listening, and she wanted to personally congratulate. Hi, Tamala.
Hello.
Tamala's joining us with her husband, David, who also joined WW, inspired by his wife. Look at the people you're inspiring in the world. Look at what you.
Wow, she's inspiring me back today. That is so wonderful. Congratulations, Dr. Tori. Congratulations.
Girl, you look so good on that stage with that black shirt on, that belt around your waist. I was like, look at her. She made all of that happen.
I'm trying to keep it going.
So how are you and David during this time? Hey, David.
Hello.
I hear you joined
WW2.
You joined WW2. I think it makes it easier if both of you are on it, right? It helps.
Yes,
definitely, because now you don't have to look over and say, what are you eating? What are you eating? So we just do it together.
So we're sitting eating, and we both have our phones, and we're trying to track at the same time.
I hear you just keep hitting new milestones, Tamala. You recently reached one you set with us on tour. What was that?
The running. I've been running. Yeah.
What?
For me. I've been running. And my daughter.
I'm shocked. Really?
Yes.
Look at that. Whoa.
I was tired, but I was getting it in.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. That's so great.
I think I was more excited than she was. And yesterday she hit another milestone. We went out climbing.
I climbed some rocks.
What?
Yes. So I'm putting the knees to work, Dr. Tori. I'm putting the knees to work.
That's what they're for. Our knees are supposed to allow us the freedom to do everything we want to do in life. And I remember watching Julianne Hough and all of them running around and jumping. And I said, if they appreciated their knees, their lives would be better, because I really appreciate their knees. I didn't think my knees would work again. I didn't. I was afraid. I was literally tearful at that moment because I couldn't even walk in and out of the stadium, but I'm better now.
Oh, that's so
great.
great.
You look great.
Success,
You look
success,
wonderful.
success.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
God bless our knees. God bless our knees. Thank you both, David and Tamala. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks for having us. God
Thank
bless
you.
you. Take care, Dr. Tori.
Dr. Tori,
Thank
Love
you.
Griffin, thank you for sharing your success. Thank you both, Tamala and David. Okay, if you've been a part of our studio audience on any week, you may not have realized there's a Tony Award-winning Broadway performer zooming right there with you. Annalee Ashford starred as Glinda in Wicked and Margot in Legally Blonde, the musical, among many other roles. And she also happens to be a lifetime member of WW. Hi, Annalee.
Hi, Oprah.
Hey, thank you for spending all 4 Saturdays with us.
Oh, Oprah, thank you for being one of my greatest teachers. Truly, this is like such an honor. I listen to all of the Super Souls, and I've also been listening to the Oprah Show. So it's like such an honor to be in your presence.
Yeah, the Oprah
and your
Show's now
teaching.
a podcast. So thank you. We've been talking about aha moments and new commitments. What have been some of your ahas, Annalee?
Well, you know, I, over the last couple of weeks, have realized how adaptable me and my family are. And some of that is from the nature of our work. You know, being actors, we never know where our next paycheck is coming from, and we never really know when our next job is going to be.
And Broadway's still shut down, right? Is Broadway still shut down?
Oh yeah, it'll be shut down for a long time. And so there's been a lot of love to give to our community. There's also a lot of people who got really sick, and we lost some members of the community. So right at the start, I noticed how my fellow colleagues were in a position, as you say, to be a shepherd and give light to those in our life who didn't know how to deal with the unknown, and also to take that mustard seed of faith and let it grow. You know, you just got to live in faith every day.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody's getting through this without a sense of faith. And I think this time more than ever is here to ground us in faith, ground us in the uncertainty. Don't you?
Absolutely. And also, you know, I've been connecting at workshops every week. I've been really checking in and really staying accountable. And one of the other things that's been an aha to me has been the word connect. And we spent a whole week on it, and community has never been more important. And the collective energy that is produced from these virtual meetups with you and the WW workshops and these protests, it's like, even though we can't be with each other physically, virtually it's being nailed into us from the great above that we need community, and there's a collective energy from that. So I've been using all of these tools to sort of honor the moment. I've been tracking every day, giving it as a, you know, an honor to healthcare workers, because I feel like all of these people who are having these health journeys with their mindfulness and their wellness and making commitments to their health, that's, you know, I think you're doing your part during this time of unrest, and committing to health is kind of one of the best gifts that you can give yourself and your family, all the people that you love in your life.
Absolutely. And all the healthcare workers out there who now have finally got the attention that they so well deserved all these years, but now nobody will take it for granted. Hopefully, you know, I know
Amen.
A lot of times we get through crisis and then people just move on and forget, but I think this moment is different. I think this moment is, thank you so much, Annalee.
Thank you, my teacher, so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We love to share these stories of inspiration in hopes of helping to be a light for you all. You know, my whole life is about trying to drop little pieces of light wherever you can, and being able to share with you all. I'm as inspired by you all as you say you've been inspired, by what we're doing here. You know, because you give what you need. So we've got one more inspiration to tell you about. Lisa says she's been dancing every day since she saw Julianne Hough's Kinergy Movement Experience on tour. Hi, Lisa. I hear you not only danced every day since our tour stop in San Francisco, but you're dancing with your daughters now. And you're not a dancer, right?
Not at all. Not a dancer at all. Not coordinated. really can't even keep the beat, but I had such a great time dancing on the tour. It was my favorite spot to do the dancing. And so I started doing it every morning. I put my AirPods in, and then my daughter, one of my daughters, my 6-year-old, caught me dancing and came in. And I guess the joy was just contagious. And I started the commitment February 23rd, the day after the San Francisco tour, but I found through COVID, it was especially important to recommit to myself and to really shake off the negativity and the stress that I've been under.
And that came about because of Julianne?
Absolutely. When I was dancing there, I felt free and excited. I said, why don't I do this every day? I feel so great in my body and so energized. And it was there when I made that commitment. I actually wrote down, I'm going to dance to a song once a day in the morning. And that was my commitment. And I signed it right in my workbook. I still have it. And I've been doing it every single day since then.
That I know that's going to make Julianne Huff so happy. Doesn't it make you so happy, Julianne?
It makes me so happy, so thrilled. Honestly, I mean, that's what dancing is all about. It's not about perfection, it's about expression. And the fact that you were able to feel that within you and make that commitment, I'm honored that I was able to help contribute to that. And I just want to give you a big hug right now.
Thank you.
Wasn't that exactly the point of Kinergy? Wasn't that the point?
That's the exact point of Kinergy, is to help people feel completely free and liberated within themselves, to just feel amazing, raise our own vibration within us so that we can raise the vibration collectively, globally.
That's it. That's it.
And I love that you do it with your daughter now. I mean, that's the whole point too, is that when you feel good in yourself, that's an example for the people around you, and permission that they can also feel completely expressed. So well done you, well done mama. I love it.
Well done you, well done. Julianne, how are you doing? I know this has been a time of transition for you too. How you hanging in there?
I'm hanging in. It is a roller coaster for sure, but I'm an eternal optimist, and I think that this is the most important time in history, and I'm so grateful that I am alive to be a part of this transition in the world, with the pandemic, with this race war, with everything that's going on. We are in a moment of transformation, and I feel honored that I get to be a part of it.
Well, thank you for joining us to celebrate a fellow dancer who gets up and dances every morning. That's so great. Thank you. Thank you for Kinergy. Stay well.
Thank you. Appreciate you so much.
Julianne has been
Oprah.
hosting weekly virtual Kinergy experiences every Saturday, and you can sign up to participate at kinergy.com. You don't have to dance alone or just dance with your daughter. You can sign up at kinergy.com. Thank you for sharing with us. And well done, Lisa.
Thank you, Oprah. Good to see you.
Thank you both.
Lisa.
When we dreamed up this idea of the virtual experience, we started with what is the foundation of my belief system: intention. Why is that? Because whatever you intend is going to actually determine the outcome. So the purer the intention, the better the outcome. WW calls that your why. So why did we want to create this experience? Everything for me begins and ends with intention. Those of you who were on tour heard me talk about it a lot. It's like my religion. It's the why behind why I do anything. Because when you start out on any mission, what I know for sure, life has taught me, you do not get what you want. You can sit around wanting something all day long. You get what you intend, and you get what you believe. So our intention for this virtual experience was to offer what would feel like, first of all, the world's biggest WW studio, where we do the work together to answer this question. So here's the question for all of us. Who do you want to be as we move through this crisis? Who do you want to be? What does your life stand for and represent? You know, we've been through this pandemic. Some people, the states are opening up. You're in stage 1 or 2 or 3. Some of us, regardless of the stage, we're still going to be home. But my goal was to come out on the other side of it better than when we went in, and to let this experience, this crisis, and the crisis that continues in the streets move us forward. Who do you want to be? Those words have taken on new meaning in the past several weeks, I think, for all of us. Barbara, you especially, having lost your father, as you shared with us. But the question remains the same. Who do you want to be? And I remember I was in an argument. Stephen and I don't really argue, but I can count on one hand the arguments we've had over the years. And early in our relationship, there was a really tough argument. And he said, "This isn't the man I want to be." And his ability to say that in that moment is the reason I'm still with him. This isn't the man I want to be. So being able to ask yourself and to be able to fully answer that question, that's what the life journey is all about. How do you want to feel? What do you want to say in this world that's so desperate for hope and inspiration? It's not just what you want to say with your voice, but what do you want your life to say based on how you live? Because your life is constantly speaking for you, whether you're taking a 30-minute walk, Brandon, or however you choose to show up and commit. Your life is speaking to you. How can you be the light and the breath for yourself and for another? For me, this moment has sparked my desire to continue to use my life and work to bring about economic parity for women and children, to bring about education, and to fight for injustices. I said in our last session that I miss my dear Maya Angelou so much in this moment. Many times I've said, I wonder what Maya would say. I wonder what Maya would do. And she once told me, one of my favorite lessons from her, if you've heard this before, just hear it again, that when I was sitting at the kitchen table and she was making biscuits, Brandon, Maya was teaching me to make biscuits. And I had just come back from opening the school and I said, "Oh, Maya, that school is going to be my greatest legacy." And she's, doing the flour and the dough. And she says, "Well, you don't know what your legacy is going to be." And I said, "Well, yeah, I do. I know that school is just going to be, that's just going to be my greatest legacy." And she said, "I said, you have no idea what your legacy will be." As she puts the dough down. And I said, "Yes, ma'am," because only Maya could make me feel like I was either 7 or 11. Sometimes I was 11 and other times just like I went into my, "Yes, ma'am, all right." And she said, "You have no idea what your legacy will be, because your legacy is not one thing." Putting your name on a school and even being supervisor of that school, that's one thing, but you've had a whole life. And your legacy is not one thing, your legacy is every life you touch. She said, it's everybody who's ever watched a show and made a decision to go back to school, to leave their husband, to not hit their kids anymore. Everybody who's ever heard something you said or heard something on a platform that you said and made a change in their life or made a decision. Everybody you've ever touched. And I believe and know that that is true for every one of us gathered here today. Your legacy is not one thing. Your legacy is how you choose to show up and live your life in every life you touch. Your family's life. It's every life you touch. And I think a lot these days, as we all have, about George Floyd. I think about this humble guy who, was really just trying to make a life for himself, working as a security guard and working as a truck driver. And look at how that life now has impacted the world. That's a big soul. That's a giant soul that was able to impact all over the world in the streets of New Zealand and Berlin and Paris. People are speaking his name. That's a powerful soul. Each of us gathered here today is a soul with direct influence in our lives, with lives that you are touching and impacting and building your own legacy by every action, because it's every life you touch. So the real commitment to a whole and well life comes down to energy. What is the energy you choose to bring to yourself? What is the energy you choose to give to the world? Positive exchanges multiply and grow, as we were saying earlier. Speaking to your kids in the morning, noticing them, that changes the vibration in the whole house. And once the vibration changes, it allows for like vibrations to enter the space. And that's why giving on any level feels so great. Mark Nepo, poet, is a friend of mine and sometimes just drops me little poems in the morning. And last week he sent me this one. The mystery, he says, is that whoever shows up when we dare to give has exactly what we need hidden in their trouble. I just love that. And there's nothing you can give, I can tell you this, that isn't returned in kind and multi-kind in your life. It's the reason why I believe I live such a blessed life. You who are aligned with the spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being of yourself and those around you, you all have the power to create that positive force for good. And that's why it has been such a joy being with you all on these Saturdays. And I know you can feel it too. So we are aligned. So if you scored a 5-8 on something, just continue the work to get to a 17-20. And once you do as Maya always taught me. When you learn, teach. When you get, give. And what you will offer to yourself and to this world to live a stronger and healthier, more connected life. How will you be used? That's the question. My prayer is, God, use me. So how will you be used in service to your highest good and the good of others? And if you can answer that question through your daily actions, that's your best life. That's what it looks like. You being used for a cause greater than yourself. Thank you all for joining WW and me these 4 weeks. It's been our great honor that you took time on a Saturday morning from your overwhelming lives to get focused and to better your life with us. As WW always says, we're all better together. So let our mantra be, in this moment, I am well. In this moment, I am well. Thank you all.